What does transformation healing meaning to you? What the challenging have you overcome in your life that transformed who you are today? Good morning, everyone, or good evening. So wherever you are, it is Tuesday. Welcome to our Transformation Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Riya Wang, a certified transformation healing coach and a spiritual mentor. I help my clients overcome with the challenge and transform themselves to connect with the unique power to bring back confidence, joy, and passion with their life. In the past few years, I travel around the world to learning and sharing transformation healing, how that changing our lives. On this podcast show, I have my guests come from all over the world. They come here to share the inspiration stories, the wisdom with all of you. I hope that can help you to use that into your daily life. Today, I have my special guest, Souli. Welcome to our Transformation Healing Podcast, Souli.
Oh, thank you, Ria. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, surely I always ask my guests where they come from. You know, I'm in California. We say this is 11 a.m. So what time in your place and where you are?
It's just gone 7 p.m. in the evening, and I'm in the UK in the Suffolk countryside in East Anglia, near Bury St Edmunds.
That is far away. You are in the UK.
Yes.
So I would like to introduce a little bit about Souli. Souli is an advanced channel with over 25 years experience. She helps people on the path of awakening connections with their inner wisdom and higher self. I have a project. I have the blast have a work with Souli before. That's channeling the energy coming from the divine. Just phenomenal. I think it gave me so much insight that light up what I do in each day. Souli, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so we all channel. Every one of us channels. It's part of who we are. It's in those light bulb moments, the moments that light you up, those eureka moments. It's a channeling, really. You're channeling your infinite self, your inner wisdom, if you like. But I consciously opened to channel over 25 years ago, which meant that there were centers in my brain that were activated. And how they describe it is that you are having the dial of a radio fine-tuned to the frequency that will give you a clear communication without all the white noise. So it gives me a clear communication with the higher wisdom, the higher frequencies that we're all a part of. And it's the light information that is flooding the planet at the moment that I'm tapping into.
So here is the question, Souli. Is everybody can channeling that energy, or they have to find special people to channeling energy for them?
Great question. Well, probably back in the day when I opened to channel, it was you probably did need to be activated more then by somebody who was trying to do it. But I actually have to say now that more and more people in their journey of awakening are beginning to open to and to reach the higher realms themselves. What I would say is that it's always beneficial to have somebody there as a guide, for that very reason that you can have interference, that white noise, that interference from the astral, and opening to channel in the way of activating these centers gives you a clear communication about all of that, and also to understand when ego comes in and interferes. But it took me a long while to learn to realize when it was ego and when it was the information, and then it became obvious. And now very rarely does ego interfere, but it still can happen because I'm a a verbal channel, which means that I stay aware and alert of what's happening, but it's almost like my ego is further and further away. I'm not a trance channel. I'm not one of those channels where the personality ego is completely removed and the individual comes through and the channel doesn't have any idea of what's happened. They need to be either told or they'll see a recording or hear a recording. In those cases, you can actually answer people in a different language that the person doesn't understand. But unfortunately, I can't do that because I'm
Mm-hmm.
present. So there'll be a part of me that will say, well, I don't understand that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I've learned to trust the information, and I've learned to sense and feel and hear the truth in the message, if that makes sense. And it's always exactly what the individual or individuals who are in front of me need at that moment of channeling. It's always actually blowing me away how accurate and how no predictions, nothing like that, but the accuracy of the reading into the energy and what is needed at that moment is absolutely always spot on. So yeah,
Yes, yes. I
and I
had
wouldn't be without it.
a few times experience with you, as we did the workshop last time, that channeling with the sound healing brought that vibration connect with divine, and you channeling through with that. So that was amazing experience.
Oh, it was so beautiful to connect with you, Rhea, because there's something really magical that happened that very first time we met. When you said, I saw your singing bowl, and you said, "Oh, would you like me to play?" I was like, "Would I?" And you played, and instantly Viwamus, the being of light or the ascended master that comes through generally all the time at the moment, he was there. His presence, I could feel it, and it was like he was saying, "Come on, come on, come on." And so I said, "Would you like a channeled message?" And then the two came together, and there was definitely something really magical that happened there. And both of us felt like there was something there that we needed to sort of work together. And I'm glad we got the opportunity to. And you never know where it might go. You never know.
Yes,
Perfect
absolutely.
divine timing. It will come together in the perfect way. Yeah.
So that always we call that when the divine alignment with the vibration, with that energy, so everything become harmony.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It was, and it is pure magic when that happens. Absolutely pure magic. And the energy and the frequencies were just, and I was buzzing, literally buzzing with the energies. Beautiful. Yeah, very
Beautiful.
grateful to have connected with you. Yeah.
Thank you, Souli. I think it's amazing. So also in this podcast, I have my guests come from all over the world. Most of the people is healers. Is different. They're doing a different things. But no matter what type of work we do, it's all brings the best of the self to here and to the people we are served with. Here is another questions for you, Solo. I always ask a lot of questions here. Some question is from the clients, I talk with them, then they come, they will be asking this. So first one we talk about that is will be have the guidance to channeling together will be more effective with you channeling by yourself if you don't have that experience yet. Correct? I'm just summarizing that.
Sorry. Could you say that again? I didn't quite
I
grasp the
say it's
question.
always have the guided, like you have the over 25 years experience to guide the people to channeling the energy is the better than just go there. People just go there channel by themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't know what's going on, what's the message is
Yeah.
come to use for, right?
Mhm. Exactly, and it's finding that way of, like I was saying, knowing which is ego and knowing which is, because initially when you open a channel, it sounds like your voice in your head, and it's learning to trust and sense into the energy, because it's obvious when the being is like there is, you feel the energy of it. But sometimes it's very difficult and it can become very confusing. But you
Mm,
learn to trust, you learn to be sensitive to, and you learn to just let it flow. And that is quite extraordinary when that happens. And yes, I think it does benefit to have guidance during that period. If for no other reason, to have somebody that you can come to and say, hey, this happened or that happened. What did this mean? Or did I do it wrong here? Or to have that guidance is really important, I think.
Then another question is, why we need channeling? Then when is best time to channel? And when you're channeling, is better to set up the intention with the question, or is the set up intention with different sense, or you just doesn't set up any intention, just let go, let be. So I know that's a couple questions, not just
No, juicy, juicy. I love it. I love it.
I love
Well,
the
okay.
tips for people. So we can get it, and people can doing
No,
that.
it's
People
great. It's
love to
great.
learn how to channel, right?
I've got it. I've got, yeah. It's so what I would say is anything goes. Anything goes. And I think some of the best channelings and best messages and the most powerful messages have come from a spontaneous channeling. And what tends to happen with me is 9 times out of 10, I have no idea what's going to be said until it comes through. They have tend to be the most powerful channelings. I very rarely know everything that's going to be said, but sometimes they'll run something by me. But what I tend to do is be guided by by the beings of light, by the collective consciousness that I channel. I tend to open to the possibility and say, hey, have you got any messages? Rather than a specific intention, the client can have an intention. And what will happen is I don't even need to know what the intention is. The beings of light know, and they will come through with the having had that the energy of that intention flow to them. They will come through with what is needed and how to answer that question or whatever it is, the intention that they've formed. There are so many ways. There's no one way, but what I will say is you can channel at any moment and they'll come through. They'll come through. Actually, having said that, there are times when they don't, but that's because for that particular moment, there isn't a message needed. But that's very, very rare. And Viwamus does tend to like to jump in and come up with some kind of message and transmission. And that's another thing they transmit as well. Below the conscious awareness, it's almost like going under the radar to straight directly to your heart, your spiritual heart, your core of your being. So you may be having a chat about something and they will be transmitting maybe the deeper truth of that you may not have a concept of in the physical realm. You may not be able to have the capacity to understand it with the amount of brain that we use at the moment, but your soul will know, your physical spiritual heart will know, and so that will be you'll be transmitted to assist you on the path to recognizing or awakening to a greater truth, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Now, I'm not
absolutely.
sure whether I've answered all of your questions there, but hopefully that's
I think
I
you
hope that.
Thank you, darling. I think you did a great explanation. So people channeling with all different type tools, they use different things. So some people channeling like have the verb channeling. Some people is doing different. So like if I doing channel, sometimes I use sound to channel. Then when I was for me, most time when I'm meditating, that I open my channel. It's started when I'm meditating. I always have a vision, have the voice, have things coming through me. So that is my channeling with. So each person, I think, each healers, they have different way to channeling themselves, channeling the message, connect with the divine. And you have your special way. That is your gift. How do you channeling that to help other people connect with the message? Then you have because you have this over 25 years experience. So when the message come, we said sometimes the message can kind of like the rain just pouring in a lot message, right? Sometimes can be confused, but you can very quickly identify to deliver what type of message is more important at that moment, what exactly what want to be.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. That throws up a clarification I had recently when I think it was when I was coming out of um, an illness, and I had a brain fog. And I didn't realize how clairvoyant I was. I didn't realize how many of the clairs that they actually use to assist them to bring a message through. And I couldn't channel very well. It was really dead. It was flat. In fact, nothing much came through. And Viola said to me, "There you go, dearest one. That's why what you have and what you bring to the world is important for us too." They use my ability to see and have visions as a way of they'll give me visions, or I'll get a vision of a concept they're trying to bring through, which will then clarify for me what they mean. And then they can, it's almost like they ruffle through the files and they go, "Okay, this is it." And then it's a clearer expression of what they're trying to bring through. And it may be a very difficult concept, again, that is beyond our physical understanding, but they'll give me these images, or I'll see images of it that simplify it, so then it comes through in the words that were absolutely spot on. So they definitely use my abilities as well as the ability to channel. But there are times as well, which is a little bit what you were talking about, or no, maybe not necessarily, but what's coming through now is when there will be a downpour of information, and it is almost like all this digital information is coming through, and it's kind of being filtered through, and then this channeling comes through, which is an element, or bringing in elements of all of those different um, streams of communication, well, of streams of consciousness. And sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming, because you're like, whoa, whoa, what? But as soon as you let go and you trust, it's almost like they go, and it all comes together. It all kind of flows together in some cohesive form, generally. No, usually. But it's interesting, when I channel, I don't know what's coming through until it comes through. But they do give me visions of and ideas of concepts, if that makes sense, or I see visions and get a sense of what's coming through. But the words I'm not aware of until they are out. So, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. That's
So it
when we
just
say
flows through.
we want to connect with the higher energy, with the with the divine, because that's when we are confusing, or we want the message we didn't know. That's why channeling with that connect, that bring better the vision, and then better the message, then clear mind to move on with what we want, we was concerned with, right? So
Yes, beautiful.
here is a solo. I know you belong. You talk about the last time you talk about you have some community you want to share with. You said the community name is Heart Spa.
Heart space. Yeah, heart
Heart
space.
Space. Heart Space.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us a little bit more about what is you guys doing in the Heart Space, and why is that important you want to bring to this podcast.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So heart space is kind of now at the core of everything I do. It's very, very precious to me, and my community there are precious to me. It's very small at the moment, but actually I've been reminded that the fourth anniversary is in on the 4th of August, I think. So it evolved, it changed from the beginning. But what happened was, this beautiful lady who came to one of my early workshops in the beginning of the very beginning of my business, she said, "Oh my goodness, Souli," she said, "I never knew people experience what I experienced. I didn't know that there were others out there who thought the way that I did. You have to start a community." And so heart space, as immediately she said that, I saw this light filled space that was already built by the beings of light. And I saw heart space, and I thought, okay, well, that's it then. So heart space was born, and it really is a place where people who are on their awakening path, whether they've been going years or whether they're only just starting out or just starting to be aware of that something other, they can have a place where they feel at home, non-judgment space, where they can share their ideas, where they can learn from each other. We've got a lot of coaches in there, a lot of beautiful healers. many, every one of them has got something amazing to share. They all add their own light. As soon as anybody joins Heart Space, they add their light to the space. I also have a core of pioneers who have been with me from the beginning, a couple of whom who went away and came back. One of them came back very recently, and they are all there as a support as well, to be there to keep an eye on things and see if everybody's all right. It's just a loving community. We have 2 Zooms a month where we can meet, a Q&A, a sharing. I pop on live. They can pop on live if they want to and share, say, a morning in their garden, or what happened to them. We share photographs, we laugh together, and if somebody's having a bad day, they come on and everybody lifts them up. And if they're having a good day, we celebrate them. And it's a way of being able to talk about things that perhaps you can't talk about with your family, with your friends. You can talk crystals, you can talk angels, you can talk beings of light, ascension, ascended masters, anything spiritual you can bring to the table, and there will be people there that will go, oh yes, yeah, and they'll be speaking your language. So it's very much especially for those people who feel a bit maybe lost within their families and their groups because they have no one to communicate with. Well, Heart Space is that place to communicate and to feel loved and cherished, and also the beings of light that they're constantly transmitting to everybody in Heart Space all the time to assist them in whatever way they need. Yeah, so I love it. I love it, and
That's
I'm
beautiful.
hoping that there are a few people from Heart Space watching who can say hi.
I see. Thank you. Thank you. And if anyone in Heart Space watch this show, you can see how much joy when Solo talk about this community that brought so many joy and love and energy here. Thank you for sharing, Solo. So we talk about also in this show, transformation healing. We talk about how our guests bring that healing on this show. Also, in this 20 minutes, we already talk about what is channel, we talk about the loving community. Then we have a few minutes left. Would you like to do a little bit of channeling with the in here if that is possible for you? Because when guests listening this, they want to know what is the channeling you talk about. So what is the message you brought to this show today?
Oh yeah, no, as you were saying that, I could feel Viomus buzzing. So yes, I would love to bring him through briefly. So I'll
Yes,
bring him
or
through.
we have a little that without
Okay,
channeling.
wonderful. Greetings, beloved ones. Greetings, Riya. We meet again, and we love the harmonics of your bowls. And as that harmonic is sending ripples out through the ether, so your soul is connected with this. And so this channel's soul is connected with this. And so all the souls of those who are present now are all connected. And we wish for you all now to connect heart to heart, whether you are listening now live or at any time throughout time. You are all in this eternal now. And so as you close your eyes and place your hands on your heart, if you choose, we wish for you all to feel the unconditional love here, to breathe into your heart, to get a sense of the peace and the calm as you do so, as we assist you to drop from your chatter, from your mind chatter, to the stillness and yet the fullness of your heart space. Namaste, 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 namaste. And from this space, we wish for you to get a sense of the love that is here. And in fact, the love that is always ever present, perhaps below the surface. And perhaps it takes you a moment or two to drop to your heart, to breathe, and to sense the love that you are. And just for a moment now, breathe into this space and feel the expansion, and to feel the love of all of you souls connected heart to heart. Beautiful. Beautiful. We wish for you all to find the joy that is within your hearts, to connect with your inner guru, your inner light. The mind cannot fathom what the heart knows to be true. For now, beloved ones, breathing deeply into your expanded hearts, I am Viwamus. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hmm.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Solo. I
You're
hope
welcome. You're welcome.
everyone watches this show and have a few minutes channeling the unconditional love with us. Bring that unconditional love to your heart, to people who's around you. Thank you, Solo. It's so great to have you here. Then before you leave, tell us where and what is the best way to find you.
Okay, so I have a Facebook page called Souli's Musings, Souli apostrophe S Musings, and you can message me there if you want to. You can find me that way. I also have a group called Messages from the Guardians of Nature, and I do a live there most weeks. Message from the Guardians of Nature, which is another element of channeling that comes through me physically, because it's connected with nature. You can also contact me through that group or from my email, which is Shambhala, Shambala 111 at yahoo.co.uk. So
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you, Solar. Thank you for brought your beautiful message in here. And anyone you are listening here and you watch this show, we also have the Solos information post with this before we were under this show. If you are here, you already know how to find the solo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching our Transformation Healing podcast today. If you have the message you want to share with the world, then you have that wisdom you want to give, let the people to know, please contact me. I'm your host, Riya Wang. Thank you, everyone. I will be see you on next Tuesday. Thank you, Souli. I see you next time.